imagine every single horrible event of your life was orchestrated by one person. You know what? Let me take it a step further. What if every bad thing that has ever happened to you was orchestrated by someone who was not even your enemy? At least not yet. Lex Luthor once went through the trouble of inventing the cure for cancer, gave that cure to his terminally ill sister, and ended up reinfecting her again. He didn't stop there. He even went on to give Lois Lane cancer, and all of that was just to get to Superman. Or how about Dr. Doom, who destroyed an entire universe because his alternate self told him to stop hating on Reed Richards? Both of these men are absolute haters, but he is someone who is more dedicated than any of them. Someone who has pledged his entire existence to make sure his great-grandfather goes through hell every single day. He is the crash out that always arrives early at the scene, not because he's punctual, but because he's the greatest hater in all of history. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Eboard Thawne.
It's me you want, Thawne. You don't have to kill thousands of innocents to bring me down.
No, I don't. But I choose to, knowing it will make your last moments pure agony. Goodbye.
You got no choice, Thawne. Disarm the bombs, or you blow up with us.
Very well. If it means shattering your golden throne in history, linking your name forever to this city's darkest hour, then my life is a small price to pay.
So in this video, I will tell you why Thawne is not just the worst op to have, he is just one of the most hateful. In fact, he is the biggest hater, objectively, of all time. Thawne spent most of his life hunting Barry and making his life miserable, just like we have established. And the only reason he's doing this is because he can't kill him, so he had to find other ways to score. And best believe he did. In order to see any of this, we have to go to Barry's childhood. You see, Barry was a really unfortunate child. He had so many terrible things happen to him, like when he fell down the stairs and broke his arm. It's pretty painful, but it's not something out of the ordinary, alright? The problem here is it felt like someone pushed him, but the moment Barry turned around, no one was there. Maybe he was just imagining things. But another time, an electrical fire burned down his house. In the wacky world of comics, this does not sound like much, but trust me, as someone who has witnessed house fires, it is very traumatizing to say the least. Anyways, the same fire caused his entire family to move to Central City, and that very day that they moved, Barry forgot to close the door of their new house and his dog ran outside, causing it to get run over by a car or a vehicle. These are three very unfortunate events that happened while he was still in the 6th grade. And trust me, these events were not isolated. They were carried out by the same villainous entity, but then he took it too far when he killed this nigga's mom and framed his dad for it. Now I'll admit, this is information that most people know. A lot of you that have watched the Flash TV series already know part of this information. But I swear to God, we are just at the beginning of the Reverse Flash hate iceberg. You see, after all this had happened, the Reverse Flash wasn't done. He went back in time, still in Barry's childhood, but this time he erased all of Barry's childhood friends from existence. He made sure that that nigga was lonely. Mind you, his dad was locked up and his mom was already in the gulag. In fact, she was already even in the lobby because she was taken out of the gulag too, probably. So we're talking about the Barry who was still adjusting to his new foster parents and his new foster sibling, which I can imagine is not easy for any child. Then one day, Barry started bonding with a new friend. Then this motherfucker Thawne came and abducted this kid, killed him, then erased him from reality at no extra cost. Are you wrapping your head around this maliciousness? This is a nigga that isn't even your enemy. He did not have super speed at this point. There was no reason for Reverse Flash to crash out to the point where he is tormenting a child. And he was doing all these petty things because the most formative years for children is in their childhood. So he went on to monitor Barry's baseball games, and in this one specifically, he was shown when he was making sure Barry does not catch the ball. I find this level of hate very difficult to conceptualize because he is willing to go to any length to make someone miserable. I don't think words in the English dictionary can describe this very act. Someone might say he is tenacious, someone might say he is persistent. Nah, he is Thawne. Thawne should be the word for describing this level of malicious relentlessness. Just think about it. He will kill you just because you're in the same space-time continuum as Barry. Just because you breathe in the same air as Barry. Just because you went to the same school as Barry. Oh, and Mr. Thawne, if you're watching this, I am not affiliated with the Flash in any way. Neither is my family or anyone close to me. Anyways, how did Thawne become this? You would think he had such a rough upbringing. He was traumatized and forced to villainy. Nah. It's not even close. That boy boy was Evel Knievel as a kid. Thawne was a self-absorbed child. Now let's talk about Thawne's childhood, because you're still gonna see this level of hatred here. When he was a child, he wanted to be perfect at anything he did. In fact, he was very upset when his parents decided to have another child, because in his words, his academic achievements trumped the need for him to ever want any siblings. I can understand not wanting siblings, wanting your parents' complete love and attention, wanting to not have to share things with your sibling. It's kind of understandable. Most humans, in my opinion, are selfish to some degree, and this is, I think, a small degree of selfishness. I don't know. But to think your academic achievements is enough reason to stop your parents from going into that room and doing things that you don't want to talk about and potentially giving you a sibling is just out of this world. That line of thought is so abstract to me. I don't even get it. Needless to say, he already hated his brother before he was born. Also, I want to make it clear that his parents had this child because they started to notice that Thawne wasn't very social. So they thought having a brother, having a sibling will help with his social issues. I mean, they had some other minor reasons that were stated, but this seemed like a concern to them. Obviously, you can tell that they are loving parents just by this, but how wrong they were. Anyways, I hope when I was explaining Thawne's personality growing up, I also mentioned that he could not handle criticism. If I didn't, well, I'm sorry, but he absolutely could not handle being scolded. In fact, he could not handle the idea of being told no or what he's doing is wrong. Imagine your crush already had a partner. Wouldn't it be logical to take out your crush's partner, right? You kill them, you end their life, making sure that the girl he had a crush on was completely devastated. And then he started to get upset that she was unwilling to pay heed to any of his advances, as she was still hoping her partner would return while simultaneously mourning him. He was mad that she was sad about someone she loved going missing. I think that's perfectly rational. I think that's completely logical. But where I draw the line is forcefully kissing her after she already repeatedly said no and quite literally showed no interest in you. This nigga brought his future self to rewrite time in such a way that she was put in a vegetative state. Her brain was completely, discombobulated and fried to the point where she could no longer speak or make any type of movement again. And what's so crazy is that this entire storyline was him rewriting his backstory to remove and eliminate every single event where he did not get his way. And something I did not show you before is where he went back in time and killed his brother. Yeah, you remember the brother I told you his parents brought in to make him a better person. Yeah, he killed that nigga. He made himself an only child because he hates that his brother was doing the right thing. Also, throughout his entire life, he was a big fan of the Speed Force. He was a big fan of Barry Allen way into the future, right? So they were doing a lot of research trying to recreate the Speed Force because for some reason it did not exist at that point in time. So there was this other professor or researcher that made some groundbreaking discoveries on the Speed Force. So Thawne went to approach him and asked, "Kind sir, would you be willing to share all of your discoveries with me before your next big pitch to the world on your groundbreaking discoveries on how you're going to recreate the cosmic treadmill? Just share all of that with me. Put me as your co-researcher so we both get the credit." Obviously, the researcher said, "No, nigga, I don't know you. I don't think you're supposed to even be here. Okay, so just get the fuck up out of my face." This nigga Thawne was like, "Alright, bet." And he went on to murder this guy. He straight up killed him. Then he went on to take the glory for himself because he was the next best thing to whatever that professor was. What's funny is I could keep going on, but I think you get the picture. I could talk about where he went back in time to kill Barry's wife. Barry had a new wife and then he went back in time to try and kill her too. I can talk about when Iris rejected his advances and he killed her. No, he didn't kill her. He paralyzed her by shaking the molecules in her brain to the point where her frontal lobe was completely lobotomized. I can talk about that too. There are so many examples of this nigga being a hater. I think the only other person that really comes to this level of hate, you know what, I can't even think of anyone else. I literally had to pause for a hot minute to think about someone on this level. Some people would like to say Black Manta is the next best thing to Eobard Thawne. In fact, some people think he is better at being a hater than Eobard Thawne, but nah, he doesn't have anything on this level. I promise you, he doesn't. But I'm sorry to him and all the other absolute grade A haters out there, but you just have to bow to your king. You have to honor the reverse flag. So speaking on haters, there is a character that gets a lot of shit because in the eyes of many, he is nothing but a dumbass nigga that is blinded by hate. So watch this video right here to understand how he is more than that. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you in the next one.
Shake just a little bit faster. No competition, no.